Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, and this is your Cannabis Business Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about cannabis advertising and what businesses need to know according to Marijuana Venture. On the line with us is Dan Kimmis, our CBD correspondent with Good CBD Products.
I dig this, Chronic. I'm learning so much.
So according to the article, there is no one size fits all. That's because of a couple of rules, not just Instagram's rules, but the Controlled Substances Act. So they list marijuana as a Schedule 1. So, quote, that prohibits advertisements that have the purpose of seeking or offering to receive, buy, or distribute a Schedule 1 substance, including cannabis. Examples of such advertisements that may run afoul of the Controlled Substances Act include for those dispensaries, delivery services, and various platforms. So there's some confusion, I guess, because the 2018 Farm Bill removed hemp from the Controlled Substances Act. But that specifically was that gave authority to the FDA, and the FDA hasn't approved adding CBD to food, marketing CBD as a dietary supplement, or adding it to cosmetics. And then on top of that, there was both FDA and the FTC both simultaneously submitting cease and desist orders to 3 companies selling CBD online. So you have that to work with.
Now, if you think about it, right, the whole thing of advertising rules. So with cannabis, there's a lot of advertising rules, okay? And for instance, it depends on what jurisdiction you're in, right? So if you're in Washington, you got one set of rules. If you're in Oregon, you got another set of rules. Oh, are you on the radio? Oh, you're on YouTube. Oh, you want to put a commercial on TV, right? All these different things have different gating mechanisms, okay? And then something comes along like the Farm Bill, okay? And all of a sudden, people who haven't been able to advertise, we have joints here. Now you could run an ad that says, hey, yeah, we got some hemp over here. Maybe. If your partners let you run the ad, depending on the platform, depending on this, depending on that, this is the thing. It's another one of these deals where, yes, it's just like every other business, only harder.
Washington State allowed billboards one day and then they didn't the other. The article says that California has a variety of their own regulations. And so I won't go into it, but there's stuff with LED lights that don't really have anything to do with it.
So this last weekend, I was out doing a store run, right? So I go visit a bunch of stores. And the store, formerly Puff and Chill, now called Nirvana Cannabis. And you drive up to Nirvana, and here's a great big, basically a tarp over the sign. And then the sign has a graphic of a leaf, and it's not even a good marijuana leaf, but it is a 5-pointed leaf, okay? And again, it's not a weed leaf, but it's a 5-pointed thing. And because of that, somebody's decided that no, you can't have that out there, and they have probably a $10,000 sign installation with a tarp on it. Again, what a crazy industry, brother.
Yeah, I think I've seen some people in Washington that got bigger signs than they were allowed to, and then had to do the same thing, covered up until they were able to get a smaller one because there's size restrictions. California has all kinds of truth and accuracy specifics. New York apparently has some medical only things, their own set of laws for advertising. I'm not going to get into that specifically, but just overall in general, there's a lot of requirements that you have to get over both federally, and then you get into the whole Instagram thing where a photographer taking just pictures is going to get shut down 9 times. So it's just kind of crazy.
This is why the other day when I was talking to Carrie Accardi, one of the things that was exposed that I thought was neat is really, the short answer, if you're a busy professional and you have a budget, is go to somebody who knows what they're doing, because they will know in the medium they're working in if they're a reputable professional. And like in her case, the whole thing of literally they can now geo-target TV commercials for you. So, if you're in Snohomish and you want to have some ads run right around Snohomish, you can. and then they just make the ads so benign, right? They make sure that they don't step on anybody's toes. It's starting to happen. It is starting to happen.
And they need it to, because there's a lot of events out there that could use it, that they're decent events, they just don't draw the crowds that we've seen. In you like it because you get to take advantage of the opportunities it presents to get a one-on-one opportunity with the people in the booth. um, on the other hand, other people that are trying to advertise and don't know how or can't should stick to professionals, because there's just very limited opportunities and you can blow your money and not even get the return. We've seen with some of the influencers out there that have 2.5 million influencers can't sell 36 t-shirts, to fulfill an order. So
Oh
you
yeah,
got to make sure you
it's
get your money, your return on your money.
yeah, and worse than ineffective advertising, if you do it wrong, you can get in trouble. Okay, so I mean, again, ineffective advertising is bad enough, right? But my gosh, if you do it wrong, it's like the Nirvana crew. You make the new logo. You actually say to yourself, well, that's not a weed leaf, at least, right? And then somebody drives by and says, yeah, but it's still a leaf, and I want you to put a tarp over it. Again, you can actually get in trouble if you do it wrong.
In other news, Maryland updates its stringent marketing rules. So, trademark rules and FDA regulations that we talked about, also getting more niche as it comes to each state making its own rules from state to state. It's going to be hard to kind of keep up, especially with a social media marketing manager that has a multi-state operator. Trying to figure that out is going to be daunting. That's a lot of compliance and upkeep.
Yeah, I think you shoot to the lowest common denominator, right? So again, if you're making a brand and you are advertising in multiple states, I'll bet at least the bulk of the work that gets posted online would be, passable in all states, right? Because again, how do you manage posting something online that then, gosh, it was legal in Cali, but it's not in North Dakota? It doesn't work like that.
Right. So a lot of these are fairly straightforward, prohibited from making false and misleading statements, required to make a statement that the product is for use by qualifying patients only, required to provide a warning for the health or risk associated with consumption of the product, and that other warnings that may needed by that commission. Very similar to Washington with what they have to post on social media, that it could be habit forming.
Yeah. Well, and, again, even things like names, right? You can't have names that, make it attractive to kids, right? You can't, again, a lot of different things that are very, um, they seem to be, subjective, no doubt. And at the same time, again, theoretically, at some point in the future, akin to alcohol, most jurisdictions will have the same regulations mostly, theoretically.
Now, a lot of these state rules are very similar, with advertisements not allowing you to be in front of schools or substance abuse treatment facilities, or parks, child care facilities. But like you said, kind of keep it to the bare minimum denominator, and go from there. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.